Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Frankfurt, the Commerzbank Arena, and welcome to ESL 1 Frankfurt 2014. The cosplayers have already been given their awards, and there were some fantastic in-costumes being used down there on the stage, all the awards being given out. The crowd are very warm right now. They're enjoying our semi-finals. The last one is well underway, and Evil Geniuses currently have the advantage, 1-0 up from game one. We're going to head into game two drafts in just a moment. So, Bruno, what have Fnatic got to do now, apart from a totally different style of draft?
Well, win, of course, to begin with.
Win, yes, good chance.
In order to do that, I would like to see some Honey Air Shaker.
Would you?
Yeah,
Why?
he did that on a couple games just as Excalibur was joining the team. They were experimenting some different things, and when he got his Air Shaker, they're actually 4-2, which at 66% is not the most impressive of scores, especially compared to EG, but it's really good compared to what other heroes look like for Fnatic at the moment.
Okay, bans already in. What do we think?
The same for EG. Like it was well prepared, it paid off. They go for the same, makes complete sense. Worth mentioning the fact that Fnatic actually banned 2 heroes that EG did not play. So they take a whole new approach to that game. They don't mind what happened in the first one, which is actually positive for them, I think.
And there's no Enigma or Lycan ban here, so it's going to be interesting to see if either team decides to pick up one of those heroes. Fnatic are on the dire side, so them picking up Lycan would be more likely. But we'll see. Seeing as...
What do you make of this this sort of propensity for the Chinese teams with Lycan right now?
Well, I think that the Chinese like to push a lot, and so they favor this Lycan a lot because he allows you to push. I mean, just the hero alone, that's like what he does. He allows you to push down towers really fast.
Yeah, I think 100% picked or banned in all of the games the Chinese teams have played in so far.
Yep.
I think Enigma and Lycanthrope right here from Fnatic would be a great pickup.
Yeah, well, I think that if they do so, I don't know. It's just a feeling I get that perhaps EG want them to pick up this Lycan.
Yes, exactly.
And they want to counter it with... I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up Axe right after, but they haven't done that before, but this Doom and as well as Axe is a good counter to Lycan, so...
It's the classic mind game, like you let the hero through, so the opponent's like, I'm not gonna take it, and sometimes you actually, you didn't want them to have it, but it's just you had to let it. It's always those mind games. That's why coming into a game with very, solid thinking about how you want, what's your game plan, is the best. And indeed, so Fnatic is like, whatever, we're getting those heroes, and EG insta picks Batrider, so it looks like they had a plan.
Well, the Chinese teams would argue that it doesn't matter what you pick against Lycanthrope. It's still the best pick, regardless of the pool.
The thing, how I would explain the Chinese, always getting Lycan is like they always abuse the advantage they have. They will instantly, go into a push, go into a team fight because they have this slight advantage. And Lycan with the Roche gives you that advantage. So you get the Roche, then you get a second tower, then you get whatever you want, a BKB or whatever you need for the game, and then you just end up, snowballing and ending the game. Yeah, as fast, like as simple as ABC.
I want to ask you a question, and I'll ask you to let's take a step back because we're discussing the picks right now and things that we want to do. But Fnatic, they're clearly the underdogs right here. They're playing a game. They were kind of stomped last game, even though they did well at some point. And Paul, you've been a pro player, probably like Pong or Space Invaders, but you probably encountered yourself in one of those situations where you were the underdog, you were behind against a small team. What was your mentality?
Really, it's been so long ago since I played anything remotely competitive. 2005 was the last LAN I played on.
Well, I mean, it's a history lesson for everyone, so...
It's definitely a history lesson. Space Invaders World Championship was actually played in 1981 on black and white TVs, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, true story.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, there's even photographic evidence with people sat behind a rope watching.
Paul's 30th birthday was also that year.
Pretty much. He was the judge.
Back on serious terms, I mean... I've watched a lot of teams over the last 10 or 12 years in a number of different games, and they all have a different way of dealing with it. I was talking to Pycat a little bit earlier on about when you're losing a really big game like Fnatic were in game one, do you shut off? And he was like, no, never. We would carry on. If there's even a slither of a chance to win the match, we would carry on and try and win it. We didn't back in the day. We would actually we'd be like, okay, this game's gone. let's just stay calm. Let's talk about what we're doing wrong. Let's play out the match as if we're playing it, but we're not actually caring anymore. And we'll just let the timer run out and we'll do whatever we need to do. But it gave us 10 minutes to talk about what we're going to do next. And Fnatic have done that under the guidance of Khan in Counter-Strike many, many times. And we're playing with Fnatic right now, and I know Khan is here. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether they were thinking like that in the last game, but there is a possibility that they were thinking like that. But I think there's lots of different ways you can square it away and that can still work.
That's a good approach, definitely. And now going back a little bit to the picks, we see the Death Prophet ban, and there's a little bit of scare right now from EG. I wouldn't say scare right now because they're really confident. But you see the Enigma and you see the Lycan, and there's lots of push potential. They do not want to be trampled by the push. Is it maybe time for Fnatic to pick the Pugna and try to take a page out of IG's book?
It could be a good pick, but right now I think Fnatic is afraid of. Basically, they're going to be pushing, like you said, and EG will going to be looking to fight. They're going to initiate with the bat and do someone, so Fnatic can't take the fight. They need, in my opinion, AoE control. That's what we said when it was IG versus Mouse. They need something to stop EG from, just going all in on them and just actually crushing them in the first go. If they can stop that and, get the mech off, get whatever they need, the black hole. Right now it's only 2 heroes, so obviously it's not going to be much, but they're going to develop a lineup, then they might be good to go and good to push.
I think Fnatic is definitely getting Disruptor here for support for No Tail.
It's a really good pick.
Against the Bat Rider, it's
awesome.
Really,
Shadow
really
Demon okay as well?
Shadow Demon is also okay, but we haven't seen them play as much Shadow Demon as we have Disruptor.
And no
it's
Disruptor.
Just looking at their pick history, it would make sense.
Big Daddy on Disruptor is really big. Super big.
He is. Pycat, thoughts? Oh Jesus, I just pulled an AC, sorry. Pycat, what did you think of the game?
What did you think of the game?
Yeah, of the draft, sorry.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that Fnatic should try to get a couple heroes so that they just don't get run over in lanes, because like in an Enigma don't really offer you anything in lanes. And this Bane is a really good hero for that. He has he's tanky. He has good defensive and offensive spells, and so I think it's a good pickup. I think they need to try to make sure Batrider doesn't get a really fast blink and force staff. Batrider he's like with blink, he's kind of scary, but not until he gets the actual force staff as well. That's when he becomes really scary. So I think they should try to shut down the Batrider a bit early on, and then just try to go for some push strat. I wouldn't mind seeing a Pugna here and then follow up with something more. They need some disable and something so that they can actually stand the lanes.
Okay, interestingly, statistically, Brenner, you'll like this one. Mirana and Batrider, the most picked 2 heroes by EG in the latest patch, and we've got them both.
I mean, Batrider, it's one of those heroes that when you can have it, you will want to have it unless you're one of these. Oh, ouch.
This is really interesting because what's the Lycan versus OD matchup though? I'm not sure Lycan can. Maybe he can hold that with the Hole like maximum 2 and 3.
Where do you get the wolves from? That's the thing. It's like you don't go wolves, you go Howl.
You play without them, You play with 2 with Howl and passive. Maybe it can be okay. Versus, I mean, you're obviously not gonna win the lane, but maybe you can do fine in that matchup. I'm not sure about this. Has to be checked.
Fnatic's entire lineup completely puzzles me. I have no idea what they're going for.
I don't understand either. They have the Lycan, he can't do anything inside the Chrono. I mean, they have the Black Hole and the Chrono, but they have no damage whatsoever inside the Chrono or the Black Hole.
The weakest
just have those 2
ever.
spells.
And the Void
and
plus Bane lane is
their lanes are
the worst.
They're not gonna be strong, and I don't know. It just seems like a mixture of heroes.
What does Excalibur play?
In this one, I'm assuming Lycanthrope.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking that Fnatic maybe can do is just have the Bane there, babysit the Void, like very old school babysitting. Do not go for any aggression, just have the Nightmare ready. If someone jumps on them, make sure that the Faceless Void survive and tries to get some farm. Put the Lycan mid, pray for the best, and just get as much farm on the Enigma as possible, which is really greedy, but I don't see them doing anything else.
The thing is that the Void could be explained. When I see such a draft, they're picturing the rush fight, which is gonna decide the game. So maybe the Chronosphere is like, it's awesome having a Chronosphere ready, for that rush fight and the Venomancer ward and everything with the mech from Enigma, if they get there, of course, because EG is not going to be looking to go try offensive with what they have, that's for sure. So Fnatic will have what they want to have for that fight, and I think it's going to be the game turning point. I think that's their approach right now. It will explain how they draft. So they're really like, maybe even already, discussing that fight, how it's going to go, how they're going to initiate. That's the only explanation I have for that type of draft, because the lanes are super, super weak. as you guys mentioned.
Malk, I want to bring you back to last year, MLG Columbus, Arteezy winning that. Remember his OD was...
He's a very able fan of OD, and I'm not surprised that they pick it up, actually. I'm more surprised with Fnatic's lineup. Again, what is the Void and the Bane gonna do against the Bat right on top? Nothing really. Lycanthrope doesn't stand a chance against the OD on the middle lane. Not that I think, anyways. And then we have Trixie on the Venom, so we've seen them play this again and again, and it seems like a viable option, but considering the bans that already came out from EG, I still don't get the Void pick. The Bane pick is arguably still a great pickup, regardless of Disruptor in the pool or not.
What about they just play that Lycan somewhere, the Void somewhere, they just sacrifice those 2 lanes and go triple offensive with an Enigma? I know it sounds weird, but you know, going aggressive with Enigma, Eidolons with the Hall, and the Veno plus Bane as, like, you know, just Crip skip, basically try to dive the tower really fast. It could work.
I think a better thing would be putting the Enigma on the middle lane and going aggressive with the Void.
Alright, that could work as well, yeah. Enigma versus OD is a really hard matchup though. It really requires a lot of skill to win with Enigma. It's doable. You can actually win an OD, but kind of you need the Bazzi and stuff.
Tier 1 meta. You get like 4 or 5 clarities on Enigma, and you go off lane to deny the safe lane Crips.
Why not? Why not?
Sure.
Could work.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. We'll hear from you at the end of the game, but it's time to go over to the commentary team for Game 2 of Fnatic versus EG.
Thank you very much, and welcome back. Here it is, game number 2 of Fnatic EG. I'm Toby1, joined by Merlini, and man, it's an interesting draft so far. An interesting draft.
OD, I'm not the biggest fan of actually watching this hero, but Arteezy has a monstrous reputation.
Yeah, he does. I know we're both sitting here, we're both looking at the lineup going, okay, how does Fnatic actually get themselves into this game? And like getting up into an OD lane is so difficult to win. But the last pickup from Fnatic may be the key to do so. That Venomancer, he is actually capable of battling up against him head to head.
Yeah, but in terms of later game team fights, the synergy just isn't there, or so it seems like.
I know you were referencing the Cloud9 match from before too, with that whole like Void as well as like Enigma together.
And then Lycan, on top of that, it's a melee hero who doesn't have that great of mobility, especially inside of Chronosphere. But the great thing about Fnatic's lineup is they can take down Roshan and potentially punish EG's greed.
That is definitely true. That is definitely true. But at the same time, like, I'm still be very, very concerned about that Roshan. You got Mirana Arrow to scout out. You have Universe with Flying Vision around the pit as well. And then you got like a choke point for an OD ulti to really make a big, big impact. Not to mention, Lions, his stun is also an area perfect, or at least a line stun. He's got hexes, he's got a lot of burst damage, and heroes like Venomancer and Bane, unless they time like Nightmare absolutely flawlessly, they're going to have a lot of trouble, a lot of problems staying alive if there's some easy levels coming into Zai. But so far, EG, they are just going to make sure they establish dominance. Again, this is something which you should always be seeing from teams. Actually, they're not going to do a full thing. I really thought they'd be a little bit more aggressive with their warning into the dire side jungle, considering they are going up against an Enigma.
Yeah, and it will be a PPD Mirana too. Almost exclusively see Mason play that hero, but he will be taking the reins on the Doombringer.
Yeah, support Mirana, man. Support Mirana. I can go with this.
Pretty interesting lane choices coming out from Fnatic, and EG, they do have the potential to punish Fnatic too. As we've seen, Faceless Void can't really do anything in the early game. He got decent farm last game, but generally you don't view him as an early game threat. And Enigma too, potentially they can shut him down, or else it might just go off crazy like Zai's.
Well, right now, man, I don't see him doing so. Like, because winning your support is going to be coming out from EG. OD is very, very passive until he gets a couple of levels up, and we're probably even looking before like level 7 before he really considers roaming around to kill someone. They're more likely just wait for them to come to him, And then like you got Doombringer, also needs some time to find that extra items, find a nice creep. Batrider needs to get his Blink Dagger. We could be looking at a quick one if the jungle's being stacked up, but you got also a Doombringer running around inside of that, so it's also not going to be as simple on that front. And also, we're going to have real problems for the Batrider on this offlane. When that Howl goes off from the Lycan, you've got a lot of bonus damage coming into heroes like Bane. And when she's running Trixie, surprisingly, it is going to be Lycan in the middle lane. I know you were still a fan of this matchup, Lycan going up against the OD, and that frees up Trixie to go top lane.
I think it's just much more kill potential. Like, they can actually kill Universe with this. If they had Lycan in the top lane, Bane can harass him out, but still, Batrider doesn't have to feel any threat at all. With a sleep into a Venomous Gale, they can actually pressure Universe, and as one of the analysts said before, killing Universe and pressuring him is probably the key for Fnatic winning. And Excalibur, he's not too underhanded in the mid lane. He did go for a Quelling Blade, not too much damage lost there, and 1 level up in Feral Impulse.
It's not as bad as I thought middle lane could be, but at the same time, we won't see OD's real effect for a couple more levels. Same thing we can say about Lycan as well. Top lane, we've already got a Nightmare coming out here on the Batrider, but there's no follow-up. It's just keeping him out of the play for the moment. Trying to keep him away from the creep wave experience. How's that offlane Faceless Void looking? Like, we've got Hani down here as the Void. Poor man shield, poor a lot of consumables. He's only managed to pick up 2 for 0 up against Mason, who's actually not looking that great. Like, we're 2 minutes in, and he's now going to pick up his 7th last hit, but he was at 5, like, a couple of seconds ago. This is not a really, like, fantastically farmed up Doombringer either.
Yeah, but it's okay since Hani's not getting anything. He has 2 CS at this point, and I think Fnatic actually expected an aggro try coming out from EG, and Fnatic being able to just passively get levels on Venomancer and be very safe with the Plague Wards, and then just dump Hani into free farm in the bottom lane. But EG throwing them a curveball, and Fnatic suffering in the meantime.
Yeah, they're going to need a little bit more than this. Like how Zai at least, he's like, well, I got the mana, I may as well use it. Throws an Earth Spike out the Faceless Void. He's flying back behind his tower. My question is still going to be Fly. Like, actually check where Flying is. He's using the creep wave on the bottom lane so he can farm up some ancient area and just abandon his jungle. It's like he already assumed there would be a lot of wards inside of his jungle he couldn't move, but they actually haven't checked it all. So there's no stacking. There's nothing like this going on right now for Fnatic.
Man, this mid lane is just... RTZ is just crushing Excalibur. He only has 6 CS at this point, and this is with Bane coming in and trying to enfeeble him. And
it's those Chronos time. Like, you see him do it again. He can't get in the last hits. He can't even get the denies out. And he can't summon more. He's at 39 mana pool right now, man. Like, there's nothing to play with here.
Yeah, and at the same time, Fnatic actually has had to have some supports come in and help him. And this is one of the big problems with last game. It's like, okay, they think Excalibur's okay in mid and he's self-sufficient, but in reality, he isn't, and he needs all the help that he can get.
Also, we get a little bit of a rotation. Universe is finally coming up towards the top lane because Trixie came a long way underneath this tower. So just a sticky napalm also. Making sure that Trixie as well as Big Daddy do not feel the need to do it again.
Big Daddy going with the boots first, unlike last game. And last game, he just didn't have the mobility on tree to make a big impact. In this game, looking to change things around. But at the same time, when does Fnatic actually try and strike? They maybe push with Plague Wards, but Venomancer are actually going for a 2-1-1 build, not a 1-1-2. So we won't see level 4 wards for quite some time. Maybe with like an early Medallion and Howl and Wolves, we'll see Roshan, but in terms of actually fighting, actually killing EG, shutting down OD, and making him fight and potentially die, I don't see that happening for a very long time.
I don't see it being possible. They have no setups for it all. Like, even Nightmare, there's no follow-up setup to it. Chrono might be one way of doing it, but Hani's sharing a lot of the experience on this bottom lane with the Enigma, who I thought was just like grabbing a creep and then just like pulling and farming up Ancients, but he was actually staying in the lane for a long time now. Haste Room for Zai, we're going to see EG try and open up First Blood here. A little bit of damage to Hani. He has no points of him backtracking with a 2 points time walk. The chance of First Blood very minimal, so Mason just keeps farming. This is just a space-making lion on the bottom lane.
I think it'll be very similar to last game in how EG will try and force Hani to use his ultimates on not ideal targets. And if he just sets him farm, then OD will too.
He's such a nuisance. Such a nuisance. Coming in from the Fog of War, he cancelled the last clarity on Fly. Fly's actually got to go back to base right now because he won't get enough mana to use another conversion. He's basically got 1 Malif stun, and that's all he can offer now.
Yeah, well, he'll have a Soul Ring pretty soon, so mana issues will be alleviated. And, I mean, look at this from Excalibur. He can't do anything in the mid lane anymore. 5 minutes in, he's just given up.
Yeah, it's almost at this point, I kind of want to see, like, the Venomancer as well as the Excalibur switch. Like, just send the Lycan towards the top lane. Let the Venomancer, he's got a couple of levels up now. He got 2 points up in the ward. Surprisingly, he actually put 2 points up into Venomous Gale. So he's searching for the damage out from this, instead of just going for mass points up in the Serpents, in the Plague Wards.
Yeah, they wanted more kill potential on Universe, but Universe isn't showing a space up there.
No. So now they have to switch it around, and it's like, you need to find that level 7 very, very basic.
Hani, PPD.
Oh.
That was awkward. PPD was just chilling there, and Hani just walked on top of him and was like, oh, hey, what's up?
They know they can't kill each other. A point-blank range arrow will have no effect. He just time-walked himself away. And a time walk in won't do anything because PPD just leaps himself away. So
I think what you talked about earlier, though, with the rotation from Excalibur and Trixie, if they don't want to put Trixie there, at least they're getting something in mid, because Excalibur would just only get experience mid, but he needs far more than that. He needs experience and he needs gold. And RTZ showing his Gloves of Haste now, going for the Midas, so we could potentially see a longer game, but with the way things going, I think EG pretty big upper hand. Batrider will get his blink out at a reasonable time, pretty much been left unchecked post early laning phase, and OD is going to be a beast. And Astral Imprisonment is going to be a very strong skill here. Even if Faceless Void gets a BKB, he can defensively Astral targets. He just needs to not get caught in the Chronosphere.
I love to how the fact, like, it did waste like 2 minutes of the Miranda time, and she's making up for that now by farming up on the top lane, but waiting for an arrow potential. That was at the same time as Lycan like moved into the jungle, so Excalibur felt the gank coming, so they just backed themselves up a little bit further from that, and they just get Bane. Like, Bane, as long as you got mana, which he doesn't right now, you'd have a nightmare to save you. So N0tail's gonna be very careful. Maybe they can find his level 6, and then Fnatic actually have a nice, I would say they have a nice controlling ability, but then OD Imprisonment again is gonna screw with it all. Even with Harney's Chrono, like OD Imprisonment screws with it all.
Yeah, and on top of that, they have a lot of other spells available to them. So Fnatic in the bottom lane, they're actually not very high level on Han. He just hit level 5, so
yeah.
Without Chronosphere, EG don't really feel scared at all, and without Black Hole too.
This is what I was talking about, like when you keep flying on the lane as opposed to inside of his jungle. You hold him here and you're just sharing all of this experience, while Fly might be acting almost like a lich on this bottom lane. It's really going to make him pay. And now you've actually got Mason walking around with a minus, so anything he's sacrificing now counts for nothing.
Yeah, Lich was actually banned out earlier.
Oh, nice scale on top. Trixie, maybe he can get himself a kill. Commits the ultimate. He's actually got this one. PPD will die with the Plague Wall going down. He knows it too. Turns for an arrow. He'll connect on Trixie. So the first blood's gone out, but the TP's going to come in from OD, and they just all want this. Honestly, not a free kill here. He's really low on life here. Arteezy and Trixie, he's away to safety. Arteezy will actually walk himself away, and this Plague Ward is not making life any easier for him. So Fnatic, they actually strike the first blow here, and Excalibur instantly on top of that mid tower in the mid.
Fly gets doomed out on bottom.
Oh, nice double stun though from Zai. Catches both Fly as well as Harney. And Harney, he's going to leap. He's going to really commit here to try and kill up the line. There's no stun available. Try and juke him around the tree line. Mason came for the body block, but Harney able to reach him.
And at the same time, Fnatic putting tons of pressure in the mid lane, and it will go down. Excalibur will take an arrow.
There's no TP support coming in now, and PPD, 9 men up. Excalibur has to just wait it out. Doesn't commit ulti, doesn't. His wolves are already on him, but they won't fight.
Yeah, huge turn of events for them too. So Fnatic with 2 towers and only giving up 1 kill in the process.
It was quick, man. And these are the towers that matter. Like you talked about before, like Fnatic having the Roshan advantage because obviously they got Lycan on their side. If they bring down this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane too, EG's chances of controlling Roshan is so minimal. They will have to commit so much just to make sure they can contest Fnatic, let alone have an advantage when they fight. Now bottom lane, there's a Batrider jumping in, goes on Harney. There's going to be no Chrono in this one. The follow-up stun, Mason's already got one. Fly, low life, 2 nade bomb charges, Flame Break will push him back down again, and they will be able to kill him off. Double kill coming in for Universe. That Batrider Blink Dagger really being made. Oh, it's just perfect. Perfect first show.
That's a very early timing for a Blink Dagger too. I think after the Batrider nerf, 11 minute is more standard for timing for Blinks, especially picking up Tranquil Boots, but Universe, again, overperforming 9 minutes with his Blink Dagger and just completely catching Fnatic off guard. Well, you were talking about during the draft, you actually predicted the Enigma pick, so credit to them. I don't actually think that EG predicted that at all.
See, for me right now, I would look at the way Fnatic would approach their game. Like, game number 1 didn't happen for them. They didn't play with a lineup which they felt comfortable. Well, they played with a lineup they felt comfortable with, and they got like face stomped. That's literally the nicest way we can describe game number 1. So game number 2, they go for insurance. They go for what they know. And what Fnatic has always fallen back to in times is team fight. Team mass, team fight control. That's what they've always done. Hence Enigma, Void, Venomancer, Bane. That's the reason why these heroes are designed to come up. They just look for extra control, and they rely on their personal strength to win the game.
And back to Mass Midas Gaming. 3 on the field, 1 on Doom, 1 on OD, and 1 on Faceless Void. So we may be in for a long one.
Yeah, we could be, man. But we definitely could be.
I think both teams have very good tools to deal with like very farmed heroes. Doom, OD ultimate, Batrider ultimate, Chronosphere, Black Hole. You have all these blanket spells that are just so good at dealing with super farmed cores.
And look, he's waiting. He's waiting for another chance. This is just like our last game. You wait until your ulti's off cooldown, then you just try and find a single hero you can take out, and you just keep moving. You keep trying to stay on the mark.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, in the meantime, we haven't even looked back to Arteezy. I've been trying to avoid putting up the net worth just yet, keeping on the CS, just to see how far. Actually, he's not that far ahead. He's sitting at only the 5th highest net worth. I was really expecting to be a lot further than that in front.
Well, they lost 2 towers in Roshan.
That's true.
So that's
definitely
a pretty
true.
significant lead. If you exclude those, he's going to be pretty... He would be #1, or aside from Mason.
Notel setting up right now. They're looking towards the bottom, as well as deeper inside the Radiant jungle. So Fnatic, they want this tower.
Trixie's actually seen a lot of success in the Venomancer, and typically you'll see him play heroes that are up in your face, like Centaur, Timbersaw, those sort of heroes, and he actually dies a lot on those, and actually doesn't die in the most optimal positions. With a hero like Venomancer, he knows he doesn't need to go in. He just stays alive, just drops his Plague Wards, and it may not be as flashy, but it's necessary for his team, and he gets a lot of damage when he doesn't die so early in the fights.
Another tower now going the way of Fnatic. And again, EG, they're not contesting. I'm wondering if they're just trying to wait. They just let Fnatic nibble away at their base until they're ready to fight.
How do you feel about EG's decision to not actually ban out the Lycanthrope when they had first pick and give it to Fnatic, who is on Dire?
Man, I'm not a huge fan of it, but at the same time, I can understand the confidence wave that EG is currently riding. So I don't blame them for not doing it. They thought they'd get like a better trade-off. So far, it's not looking that way. It's looking very, very good for Fnatic as they just continue to take another tower. That's now the 4th tower for Fnatic. All 3 tier 1s as well as now a tier 2 tower. They're cracking the base of EG before they're ready to fight. I really thought EG, I'm pretty sure EG looked at it and thought, you know what, Lycan, he's great, obviously, but I think EG just had confidence on lanes above anything else. So without winning your lanes, you don't get anything. Meepo, most people would fear it and maybe even consider banning it out against Fnatic, but they thought in game #1, we don't care. We'll fight up against it, not a problem.
A lot of people have talked about the fantastic support duo PPD and Zai, but PPD actually almost no impact in this game. Gave up first blood because he didn't have a TP score in the top lane, losing the tower 2, 0, 1, and 0. Usually you see PPD have a much more active role in the first stages of the game.
Problem is, though, it's really difficult to hit any of these arrows. Even the Wolves are blocking the path for it most of the time. And Fnatic saw that arrow coming from a mile away, so they're not surprised. But Hani jumps in, Chrono. He managed to get Arteezy, which means there's no OD imprisonment. Flamebreak trying to buy some space. Fiend's Grip is well committed. Now the Bat Rider lassos in, tries to fly on that black hole, but the Nightmare actually buying a little bit more space here for Fly. They can run out, but a Finger of Death comes out from Zai, picking up the Enigma on the way out. Trixie was also doomed up, so there was no help for Venomancer Ultimate. But they come out of it, now the mech goes. Hani, he starts to crouch looking for that leap in. But they've already brought down the tier 2 tower. I'm pretty sure Fnatic don't want this game to go any longer. They're looking to fight. Actually, even look at the item pickup coming out from Enigma. He knows what he wants. He knows how he wants to play this one. Fnatic want to end this before we even get anywhere near the 25-minute mark. Actually, did he have indecision? I think he had indecision.
So Honey has the right idea. Gets 1-man Chrono. As long as you get the OD, you'll probably win the team fights, and that's a good trade for them. OD for the Enigma, and they actually have some damage to dump in the Chronosphere. I forgot about the Midnight Pulse after that recent buff. That thing does significant amounts when people are standing still.
Yeah, and even the range of it is huge. It's greater than that, the Chronosphere.
Or as Sin calls it, the blue wall.
Well, it may as well be a wall. It surrounds such a huge area. Kind of feel like it's almost like a moat more than anything else. 4-3 now on the board, and Fnatic, they just come top lane. They have no need to hide what they're doing. They know what they want to do. Push high ground and just force the issue. They have Meg already up and running. With Vladimir's over at Excalibur, Hani is already on his way to an Aghanim Scepter as his first item, has a point boost to start with. And the rest of Fnatic is just ready to move. All ulti's about to come off cooldown. Lycan's one on cooldown for 2 more seconds, and the Bane also is coming off cooldown in 2 seconds time. So now it's just Fnatic having to go high ground. That's the primary thing they have to be able to do right now.
It's a very smart choice for them to give the Aegis to the Faceless Void instead of the Lycan, because if they jump on a Lycan, Faceless Void just goes in Chronos and they win the team fight from there. But if they go on the Faceless Void, Fnatic without a guaranteed black hole from Enigma, he doesn't have BKB yet, and even if he did, it's probably not going to be a good one because they do have Doom available.
Mason. He knows something's wrong. Hani just Chronos to find him. They Midnight Pulse as well, clean up the tree line, and that's the Doombringer caught outside of his own base. They smoked up and just easily moved down to that bottom lane. So Fnatic are able to pick themselves up a nice easy kill. And now, with the Doombringer on the sidelines, do we have buyback from him? We do not. This is now going to be a 4v5 breach into high ground, but they are down a Chronosphere. And they're also out of Nagus the Immortal. It times out.
Yeah, just recently timed out too. I think it's maybe a little bit premature too, but at the same time, Universe doesn't actually have his Force Staff yet, so he had a very good timing for his Blink Dagger, but Fnatic sweeping down all the towers, giving any opportunities for Universe to get ganks and accrue more gold.
Trixie, Rando, Gale going up the hill. Surprise Flies are just throwing out the filter Midnight Pulse. Meanwhile, up on top lane, there's a lot of pressure being applied. OD already imprisoned up one of the TPs, and that was Hani. He was probably the one man who could have slowed down Arteezy. Meanwhile, PPD, Fiery Llama. Courier goes down the bottom lane. They have anything important? It actually had a Staff of Wizardry on it. That one belonging to No Tail.
So it looks like they're going to double step their build to one on Faceless Void, one on the Venomancer. At least that was their point boosters lead me to believe. And Lycan actually going for a Vent booster too. I hope it's not a Vanguard. Please no. Please no Excalibur.
I'm considering some of the other builds we're seeing from him. It could be anything. In this lineup though, I'm 100% with you. Like, Vitality booster, I hope it's casual. But if he walks in right now and picks up a ring, then we know what's going on. But that would sacrifice his buyback. So maybe it is just a casual one.
Does he really need HP though?
Not really. Like, he's got his oldie form. Wow, that arrow was close.
Yeah, I don't think he needs it. I mean, he could just go BKB if he wanted more HP. Casual Ogre Club would be pretty good. Well,
yeah, but maybe you're right. Maybe this will actually be a Vanguard. Either that, or he's feeling so confident that they can just go straight into a heart. But that would just be, like, overconfident.
They need a lot of damage up front, though, and I think that EG is going to be far more focused on the Faceless Void than the Lycanthrope, especially if he goes hard. You can just kind of ignore him, kite him around, just astral him. So, not really sure about this build coming out from Excalibur.
Well, we'll see what he does with it, at least. It may just be a casual Vitality booster. Aghanims, of course, two of them were being built up. That was one over on the Venom and one over on the Faceless Void. As, hello, Batrider, he's managed to find Excalibur. Well, how much is that life point's going to help you when you're stuck on top of a cliff, being nailed down? Doombringer using level death to ensure the last hit. And it was the OD who was pumping out a lot of that damage. And of course, they can keep spamming out all of their abilities, EG. They don't have to worry that much about mana pull when you have something like an OD Essence or a level 4 around you.
Yeah, and still the trouble point is going to be actually Fnatic breaking the high ground of EG. At the same time, they can take it late. They do have the ultimates to deal with that. But since they've had such a big lead right now, they don't want to squander it. They've taken out all the T2s, and this is when a lot of teams fall flat. They try to farm their own jungles, and eventually they slowly but surely get picked off, especially due to Batrider. And Universe actually hasn't died yet this game. 2-0 and 2 on them, 4-step completed, and again, Universe keeping them in the game for what should be pretty long game.
Man, the patience which is coming out from EG right now is ridiculous. They have the Blink Dagger, and that's the fate. That's what they're waiting for, EG. Excalibur to come towards the top lane. They get a kill into the OD, and it was Zion with a Blink Dagger coming in with a very quick surprise stun and Hex. And then the follow-up damage with the Force Staff allowed the OD to follow through. At the same time, Mason, I love the way he's doing this. He's trying to farm protected in the trees, and he blinks out! Up towards the high ground, flies Midnight Pulse, a second too late, no damage coming his way. EG, they evade a gank, and they take a gank.
Even though Fnatic is like 6,000 gold up ahead right now, they realize they're in some trouble right now. They try to split farm, they die, they try and go for ganks of their own, and they don't get any kills. It's probably too premature to push high ground, especially without Aegis of the Immortal, and I don't know, they feel the pressure. EG, one of the best teams at just splitting up, avoiding fights, and when push comes to shove and Fnatic actually does try to push a T3, you always have to worry about Universe.
And so 20 minutes into the game, and EG, they finally actually get a little bit of space on the lane. Zai's almost right on top of that T1 tower on the top lane. I don't know if we're waiting for another gang to come up that direction or not, praying that someone from Fnatic will be there, but Fnatic are 100% missing from the map at the moment. So you're going to flag the fact that either it's a smoke gang somewhere or it's exactly this. It's a Roshan, very quickly brought down too because Honey was walking around with that DD rune. So there was a lot more damage coming out from that one. Arteezy then realizes what's going on, shows himself up on the top lane, and they'll just see if they can get themselves a trade. With a catapult behind it, are they waiting for the response? Maybe they're thinking Fnatic, yeah, their response is coming already. Hani shows himself in the middle lane, and that means EG, they instantly have to come back to protect that tier 3 tower in the mid. And they know it too, they got to be prepared without having to spam at all their TPs.
They get one good fight right here, and they can do pretty much irreparable damage to EG's base. So it's pretty much all on Hani. Is he going to get a good Chronosphere or not?
No pressure. No pressure on the German.
Also on Arteezy. Arteezy has to be as elusive as possible, possibly even pop a smoke in base just to avoid the great initiation from Hani.
He's still not back yet. He's still up inside the tie side jungle. And Hani, he's actually getting drained out. This is really, really smart from Zai. Hani's at a 360 mana right now. Leaps in, Chrono, he got two. Arteezy still not come back, and Hani, who's he going on? The Fiend Chips over on the Doombringer, but Hani's taking too much damage right now. Now the stun comes up from the line. Already imprisonment, and OD drops the ulti. It's hardly any damage, however. The Doom's on flies, there's no ulti from Hani. He's too low, tier 4 towers. Bring him down, the Eagles will bring him up, and Excalibur dying inside of Lycan form, inside the base. The Moonlight Shadow's making it difficult, and the OD damage. The Nightmare will come out. OD, yes, she took it off him, so the Finger of Death from Zai can finish the job. Fnatic, they dive under the tier 3 tower, fighting against EG. The irreparable damage you're talking about will not be done, not in the 22nd minute of this game.
Again, Universe, that flame break during the Chronosphere completely saved them so that they didn't actually die during the Chronosphere. That was huge. He actually pushed him out. So normally you push him a little bit of range away, whatever, he has 1,000 move speed, he can just walk right back, but it was masterfully placed.
Did he even have napalm on him to try and turn around then? I missed that part of it, but you're right, he took so long to get back inside of the Chronosphere. By that point, there was no damage. The Phoenix was also done on a target inside the Chronosphere as well. And Fly, for all of his Blink Dagger, for all of his movement, he never got his hold off. The Doombringer was right on top of him, like Mason was waiting for him to come in and stop him straight away. I love the fact that Zai also, like, if he got himself another mana drain off on that Faceless Void, that fight would have never even been possible.
That was the best opportunity that Fnatic's going to get for a long, long time too.
Yeah, they basically have to wait for what? The next Aegis of the Immortal? It's a little bit too long, man. As Universe, he's running away from here. 4-staffs up, able to avoid the Gale. He's still poison synced a little bit from the basic attack of Trixie as he gets 4-staffed again. Zai blinks himself into the tree line to TP out as Batrider. Well, he just rides the rim. And he's away to safety on the other side of the river too. So, well, Fnatic, they won't find anybody up here.
So good at making room for Arteezy, and he's just getting bigger and bigger. Doesn't even need a BKB this game. But, I mean, Fnatic, they had such a good early game lead, and they've been trying to approach different ways. They've tried a 5-man down middle, that didn't work. They've been trying to split farm, that didn't work. They've been trying to gank, and EG's so good at dodging everything that Fnatic has to throw at them.
Fnatic, they've got to catch a break at some point here, don't they? Oh, wow, that's going to annoy them. Observer Ward goes down. Okay, yeah, they brought a gem, but they don't want to reveal the fact they're smoked up, so Trixie Plague Ward will be able to take care of it instead. As PPD's moving towards the bottom lane. A Starfall on the creep wave's going to make it. Actually, there's only a level 1 Starfall. There's no damage coming out from this Mirana. He put the 4 points up into the arrow instead.
Uh-oh, Arteezy. Big Daddy sleeps him up.
Yeah, this is troublesome. Blink Dagger. Hey! Committal is high. And Arteezy imprisons himself up. He's not dead yet. In the meantime, the Mirana has been brought down by the Void, and Arteezy goes down too. Mirana down that bottom lane. Void used Chrono. The Black Hole's on cooldown too. So even though Fnatic did manage to pick themselves up 2 kills, it's still difficult for them to come high ground without those 2 big ultimates.
Yeah, are they going to have enough time to do so, though? I don't know.
To get high ground? No, the oldies are on cooldown for way too long. And you've also got the other problem, the fact that Mason is about to finish up a full pipe.
Yeah, that Black Hole was a little unnecessary too. If they still had Black Hole up, I think it'd be a pretty good opportunity, especially considering Faceless Void did go for the Axe Scepter. But all in all, the Axe Scepter hasn't actually been that useful for Hani. You'll see like Burning go Axe Scepter first a lot, but they don't actually have good spells to dump into it. And oftentimes, I think he just simply needs more damage.
Zai slowing it down right now. The fortification has been used, but with Flame Break, they already forced the mech out. 10 seconds until Arteezy is back up in the Walls of the Living as the conversion is doing some decent damage to the tower, but hasn't brought it down just yet. As Faceless Void, well, there's some damage dealing item now arriving for him.
I like the item choice from Mason too. He's going for a hood into a pipe. I think that they really need a big item like that to prevent them from losing a Rags. And they'd kind of just ignore Mason and go for the squishier targets. Especially considering he has a mech.
Observer and Sentry, perfect. Catches out already the OD, and the imprisonment. Well, what is there? Is Mason trying to save him? The Doom has already gone off on Hardy, Finger of Death. They're bringing down Trixie, the Venomancer, the gems on the deck, and he never got his ulti up. He'll buy back and TP the tier 1 tower. Fiend Script now over on top of Mason. They'll focus him down, and the rest of EG is backing up. The Venom is brought back into it, but the Chrono is down. The Enigma Black Hole is still on cooldown as well. And considering they walked underneath an Observer and Sentry in Moonlight Shadow, hence that was the reason why Fnatic had such a good initiation, EG should be happy they got out with what they did.
Yeah, not so bad, but still, Glyph is down, Rax is exposed. Can they turn this into Raxes?
Oh, you'd hope for Fnatic fans' sake that they possibly could, but now the Doombringer will buy back, and there's going to be stuns, and the rest of Fnatic, they're happy with this. They're happy with the fact it's now a buyback for a buyback. And the middle lane will be mopped up. It's the range racks they focus most of the damage on anyway, so it won't regenerate up because of that.
I also feel like they could be split pushing a lot with Lycanthrope. He's not doing that much in these team fights, and what can he do when Faceless Void has Blink? He can't really follow him easily. Enigma also has Blink, and he can't do anything inside of Chronosphere. So I think he should be split pushing a little bit more. They don't have a tree this game to heal the towers up, and just trying to accomplish objectives. Focus on towers, not on kills.
Question for you. BKB or Lincolns for the Enigma, considering this game?
That's a tough one. I would say since OD is probably going to get a Scythe, probably Lincoln's. But Lincoln's are more expensive. I think that they probably can't afford to wait that long.
He still has a lot of money. There's a Nightmare now over on Mason. They need to bring help in very, very fast. And while Trixie's on his way, Mason, Blink Taker straight away. They didn't get there in time. And now maybe Universe. Well, the Fireflies have a bit of a looky around, as he now gets himself a Yule Scepter, so we get really high movement speed as well as an extra Savior ability coming out from the Batrider.
They really dodged a bullet right there. It looked like, oh yeah, Mason just got away, whatever. But if he had just Brain Sapped, he wouldn't have lived right there. And Mason, keep in mind, he just bought back, and their Raxes are exposed, and their Glyph is down. That kill could have led to Rax.
Well, Fnatic, they missed the opportunity, but they do get game-changing rune. Unfortunately, they don't pick it up. There's that DD down on bottom lane, which they could possibly just grab. At the same time, that pipe we were talking about before, it is fully now completed over on Mason.
And Excalibur is going for a heart, it looks like.
It is? Did he just go straight for it?
I suppose so. I don't really know why. I think they could go like Desolator so he can split push a lot more, or a standard build like the Necronomicon.
Yeah, I'd be down with both of them, really. At the same time, like the mana burn wouldn't be as much, it would just be for the pushing power then.
Or even BKB, but something like that.
But BKB or Deso or both. Why not both? Arnie, jump down. Again, they find Arteezy out of position. And, well, beating him down a couple of time locks, and they commit the Fiend's Grip. Even inside the Chrono, they committed the Fiend's Grip. And Zai just blinks himself and TP's away to safety. But Fnatic able to get themselves another pick off. A very low killing game, but it's all about the positioning. It's all about not getting caught out from these very controlling abilities of Fnatic.
Yeah, and EG can afford to do this because their revive timers are still pretty low, but come 35, 40 minutes in the game, one kill like that could potentially be close to the end of the game. So they can't afford that, especially not in a hero like OD. He's been sitting on his ultimate orb for a very, very long time. He needs to get items. He needs to get like a Shiva's Guard, a Scythe of Vice, Refresher Orb.
Man, I'm still thinking that it's Fnatic who are the ones who are like pushing uphill right now. Because while, yeah, you're right, OD, he's actually got himself the second net worth, highest net worth. 12,000 compared to the 13,000 that's there. If you check out the golden experience grants I brought up before, you've only got like maybe, what, that's 4K worth of gold advantage to Fnatic after they had a very considerable lead. And the experience is also, it was 10,000, I was dropping down, Honey, he wafts it. I know he's only got 60 seconds on cooldown for that one, but the Chrono is still down. That's 60 seconds of breathing space for EG. And EG, this Doombringer Devourer is still going to work with the hands of Midas. We also have to take that in consideration. It's 2 Midas up against the 1. I'm not saying that's like, yeah, you're going to win game on nothing but Midas alone, but it's being that Arteezy as well as Doombringer are being very efficient with their farming. You want your Scythe of Vice? Well, you got it. It's already up now for the OD. The disables are starting to arrive, and I think EG is going to be at a position where, okay, they won't contest Roshan because it's really, really dangerous to do so, but the main thing they could do is just wait for them to come high ground and battle there, or they smoke up and get into a nice counter position up against Fnatic.
Yeah, they've almost weathered the storm. The time where Fnatic's gold lead has been very, very significant after taking down Roshan's multiple times, as well as all the T1s and all the T2s. That's when Fnatic's supposed to be their strongest. So since they survived that phase, especially with a greedy build like 2 Midases, I think they're going to be okay. And Fnatic's just been given so many opportunities too. You won't see a lot of other high-level teams when they actually get the opportunity to push high ground with that much of a gold lead, with an Aegis. They blew it multiple times.
Yeah. And which means they're going to work even harder to grab it back. Trixie at least now has some better initiation. And while Arteezy keeps getting bigger and bigger, there's more and more problems coming their way. What happens when Batrider's able to pick up a BKB? Chrono and Enigma is your only saviors, and well, Doomria keeps doing a lot of work on Fly every single time for that.
Yeah, and now that OD has a Scythe of Vice, they have to wait for the BKB on Faceless Void. They can't risk him time walking in and then getting sheeped. If that happens, and there's no excellent 4 or 5 man Black Hole following up, they lose the fight immediately.
Man, some really good pings coming out right now. They're realizing what's going on, but not the full thing of what's going on. PPD, he's praying that at one point he might be able to finish up either Treads or maybe finish up the 4-star. But the primary thing which our EG are nowhere near close enough to actually counter up against it is the fact that like Roshan belongs to Fnatic. Hani comes in, so he's actually going to swipe the Aegis the Immortal here at the same time that BKB has arrived. Third Roshan too means the cheese has arrived. That one will get to go into the hands of Excalibur.
You can tell what EG is trying to do. They have the T1 tower on top. They're really trying to get this T2 down, or at least force Fnatic to respond. If they can do that, they can eventually wither down the T1 tower in mid and the T1 tower in bottom, and then extend their area to farm. But Fnatic just been doing a fantastic job of controlling that area, mostly because of the Lycan Wolves. And with only a gem on Batrider, they don't really see the Wolves all the time.
Man, Fnatic is coming. They're coming down the middle lane, and they're looking for EG at the moment. And, well, jump in. They got Hani. Drag it back in range to the tier 4 towers. Mason still with Doom. Actually, yes, use the Centaur. Stop the Nightmare from No Tail. Buys in space, but Lion's here. He doesn't want to use the Finger of Death to kill the Faceless Void. Not when he still actually has that Aegis the Immortal. OD in the meantime, keeping actually his Excalibur. He can't do anything. The BKB's gone from Hani. They got Mason, but that's the Fiend. Fly comes in for the Black Hole. He got Mason. He's got Arteezy as well. They can't kill him off. OD imprisonment back off cooldown. Buys in space. The mid-range is gone. Finger of Death. They bring down the Faceless Void. Arteezy still licking his wounds. With that, yeah, they're going to 4-staff him in. The Venomancer ulti is really hurting EG right now. They're back in base, healing PPD in no man's land outside his own jungle. Another kill coming the way of Fnatic. They bring down the mid-ranks 33 minutes in. They may have tried before, but this time they succeeded.
Another great timing push from Fnatic. Aegis, Cheese, BKBs completed on Faceless Void and the Enigma. So Arteezy, yeah, survives to fight another day. At the same time, EG was very, very careful about trying to control the Faceless Void. They gripped him, they didn't use the Impale on him, they didn't use Doom on him, they didn't use the Scythe of Vice on him, they used just enough so that they could actually kill him twice. And they almost did, but Hani popped his BKB in time to not get bursted down.
Yeah. Man, if they actually got that secondary combo like before the BKB came back up again, we'd be looking at a very different situation at the moment. But one major thing I'd still point out is the fact that Arteezy still did not go down. This guy is going to be a massive beast in the later portion of this game. He's still finding a lot more money, and maybe after they claim some of these out of tier 1 towers, he'll have an injection of money come in. I mean, you still look at it, EG have still only brought down 2 towers. They finally got that tier 2 tower only moments ago up on the top lane, but it's the fact that you've got the tier 1 in the mid and the bottom still alive for Fnatic. It's not even like they're running a Tree and Protector. Now Universe very quickly away from the gemmed up Bane. And they want more. Excalibur, Zaya's right behind him. The Hex will go. They move away from the Wolves at the moment. The Moonlight Shadow trying to give them that protection as Fnatic. They're looking for an opening. Excalibur, he's already popped up that ultimate. And it's down to half of his duration left. And Fnatic will not push any further with this. But you're also noticing Excalibur now going into the Assault Cuirass. It is just a full tanky, I stay on the front lines OD. But the hilarious thing is that he just got imprisoned up during the last fight, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't go BKB. And he doesn't actually have that much damage. Even if he were left unchecked, doesn't do that much. It was just really important that Arteezy didn't fall during that BKB black hole.
Yep. And was able to survive. Universe back into Firefly. When you got a creep wave like that coming down middle lane, you gotta do something. And Zai also has to be very, very cautious about this top lane. I know he wants to push out. I know he feels very confident with the Blink Dagger. He's up. He's got a 4-star right now too. But Hani, they've got him. Malibus done. He can't TP out this one. And Hani, he'll just commit the ultimate. He doesn't care at the moment. They just want to ensure the kill coming in the wave of Fnatic and put that line on the sidelines. Make this a 5v4 on the field.
And this will buy some time for EG, but at the same time, Fnatic's time to strike is not now. They already got one Rax. They can be patient. They can wait for next Roshan, and EG with the next Aegis and Cheese going to Fnatic, they're really going to be up against it. And we have to see some fantastic play from RTZ, from Mason, and from Universe in order to take this game.
Yeah. Well, man, we'll see if they can pull it off. We saw an amazing game last night. Would love to have something that replicates it a little bit more tonight. As we said, 12 to 11, 36 minutes in. We'll just have ourselves a moment to pause. As Fnatic is starting to get cold, it has started to come down here in Frankfurt. So we need to have ourselves a bit of a moment. Oh.
I think a lot of this game just has to do with the Lycan pick. It's really that simple. I could, try to analyze it a little bit more, but we've seen a lot of times Dire, they get early lead, usually with Enigma or Lycan, but both of them in tandem is just too much pressure for EG to handle, at least in the first 30 minutes. And they have fought back very, very valiantly.
That they have, man. That they have. Man, you're right. We hate to break it down to just one pick. Like, just the Lycan by itself. I still think that Void Chrono, it's kept Fnatic in front. Like, even if we look back at, your golden experience graphs, you look how far it's coming back down again. I still feel like EG playing on the back foot. Okay, they've lost mid-racks, but we're not facing up against, other moments where you have, these freaking, Nature's Prophets split pushing you, or Ember Spirits jumping around the place. You're not worrying about the split push. It's a mid-racks. You can deal with this. Not massively, but you can deal with this.
You can deal with it, but can you deal with split push, though? Can you deal with 4 of them barreling down one lane with Aegis Cheese and then Lycan pushing another with a heart? They don't have the damage to kill to fend off both fronts.
But you gotta love this crowd. You gotta love this crowd. We're back into the game, everybody. We're back into the game. Fnatic have rugged themselves up. The Finishman has found himself a blanket. And we'll move ourselves forward. As we're 36-36 into the game. Fnatic, they cannot lose momentum here. We have ourselves to pause. Don't lose focus here, Fnatic. They've kept themselves nice and tight. It's the same thing we've got to say about EG. EG, they've been really, really coordinated during the fights. That's probably one of the biggest things we've got to say about this lineup. I know it was one big thing we're saying about Invictus Gaming. That's just impressed us all, heavily, just how they're moving as a unit. But EG, even when they're fighting on the back lines, they're being pressured out, they're losing Aegis, and they're fighting up against Aegis and Cheeses. They're still having brilliant fights and great positioning.
Yeah, mostly because they haven't gotten caught in more than 3-man chrono, or more than 2-man rather, more than 2-man chronos or 2-man black holes. And EG's positioning has just been fantastic, forcing Fnatic to get decent ultimates, but not enough to break the game wide open.
That Shivas is almost done for the OD. In fact, if he wants to, he has enough money, he could buy it right now. But it would jeopardize his buyback if he did it.
He'll have it, just needs this wave and then he'll be good.
As if he has that much time. Right now, Mirana able to actually hit an arrow over on Hani. Sees Fnatic coming down that middle lane, and instantly too, EG back themselves up. So PPD could have just saved his team from a world of hurt just then. But they were trying to babysit him enough. Trixie has stopped that bottom lane from pushing in. And OD, well, there's your money. We've got to actually now move ourselves in. We hit 38 minutes, and I can't believe I'm at a point too where I'm net worth doesn't really mean anything. Disables and everything else, the main thing is buyback. Who has got it for each team? And currently we've got 3 on either side. But as far as the cores go, Doom still got his on cooldown for another minute. So he can't just buy back in the fight, even if Mason does have the money. Now top lane Zai, he's got to get out of here, and he can't. The Chrono's already gone, but it's only over on 1. And now Mason, Fiend's good from the hill. No-Tell, he's holding him there. The last two though, dragging Hani down. The OD Imprisonment actually buying some time here. Hani leaps away, but the OD ulti! It's so hard on Fnatic! The Bane's gone down already, and Martizi, he's going to shred him up. Excalibur, what damage do you really want to do here? Fly! He got 3 of them in the hole! And that's going to be OD. He's trying to find here. The Doombringer up on top of the hill. They're buying back right right now. EG, Fly still alive for the moment, but Mason's waiting for him to come up. Hot stop off cooldown. Here's on top of Fly. Universe with him. There's Mason with a triple kill. Level death ensuring it. Universe, Blink Deck is about to come off cooldown. He's trying to catch up to Trixie. Firefly, Yule Scepter will set up right now. Fnatic, they're going to lose everyone right now. Bashy Flame breaking him back into the arrow of Mirana. The OD will remain dead. Fnatic will lose everyone, but it cost EG 2 buybacks in order to hold that top.
Yeah, Faceless Void, I mean, he just used a Chronosphere on the Lion, and they really wanted that kill, but it was just too much.
It crippled the rest of their fight, really.
And Mason was just so darn tanky. He got Fiend's Grip for full duration, and they still couldn't kill him. He dropped to like 30% maybe, and then pipe mech, and then immediately turn around, and of course the OD ultimate, the Sanity's Eclipse, completely changed that fight.
Imagine what happens now when Mason is going to also finish up the Assault Cuirass. Because you're going to have an AC over on the Doombringer. You've already got your Shiva's Gun over on the OD, which also caused a little bit more havoc during the fights. And Batrider, that Yule Scepter, that worked overtime as well.
I still contend that Lycan's build has really, really cost Fnatic a lot of momentum.
Agreed. You saw him just standing there next to OD going, well, I will hit you.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he did.
Today we're battling with feathers in pillows.
And it's really unfortunate that he's not utilizing the hero to his greatest strength, which is taking down towers.
Yeah. And EG could ignore him. Like they did too, didn't they? He's walking around like, we'll let the AoE damage do most of the work. If you're near him, then sure, attack him. But at all other times, it's you'll just let him do his own little thing. And well, I really like this from EG. You don't want to get yourself caught into a rut. You don't want to just always be on the defense. This is the first time where they feel like they're taking some advantage here. And they're going to take the T1 tower in the middle lane. Fortification will be used. And Fnatic, well, they're going to be really careful. Honey, okay, that 4-star sent him into the trees, which is not where he wanted to go. You want to be 4-staffing close so we could time walk into a chrono. But EG, they back off at the right time. And again, these fishing arrows, just having a bit of a look around. The tier 1 tower goes down, but at this point, EG don't care about that kind of money. All they care about is map control. And they need it. Finally, the tier 1 tower is gone. 41 minutes it took, man.
And on top of that, PBD actually picked up the second gem too. So Fnatic, they can't trust him in Excalibur's Wolves anymore. And now they actually have the fear from Moonlight Shadow. EG could be anywhere.
Yeah.
So
with these arrows flying out of complete fog of war, or heroes disappearing directly on top of you. And you gotta be really, really careful. Excalibur still hasn't finished up this Assault Cuirass. He started this thing like 15 minutes ago.
Well, Heart doesn't help you really farm that much. He already has Vlads for sustain, and they're not focusing on team fights anyway, so it's not like he's dodging deaths and fights because of this item.
And even Hani, okay, let's actually try and just calculate how much damage. I don't know if we really want to calculate it properly or just generally look at it, the amount of damage coming out from Fnatic. Hani has Maelstrom, Aghanims. Not really hitting that hard. If he can hit time locks during the chrono, that's kind of nice for him. But EG's to a point right now where they're getting tanky enough that they can deal with all the damage which is coming out. Like, Fiend's Grip will hold you there. Trixie's ultimate's probably the thing which does the most amount of work right now during fights.
Yep.
Like, maybe that with Midnight Pulse, considering the life points. Actually, even Doombringer, he's only at 2,000 life points. And OD, he's not a life point kind of guy. Like, he's currently walking around with 28 armor, as well as having a crap ton of intelligence behind him. So, like, all of that together gives EG their strength. I'm wondering where Fnatic is meant to find the damage during the fight.
Well, they should have a Lycan who should be doing a lot of damage and a Faceless Void. But again, I don't think the Scepter is really suited for this type of game, though. It's really suited when you can use it every time where it's off cooldown. But the cooldown decrease is not as much as, let's say, a Queen of Pain. It's from 80 seconds to 60 seconds. So it's only 20 seconds more downtime than before. And
we have a standoff. We have a standoff around Roshan. And, well, the arrows scattered out most of it. And they Moonlight Shadow over. Of course, all of this is now going to get revealed. Now realize it too with the gem coming in range of the Observer as well as Sentry Wall. But there's a bit of a problem back inside the EG base. The Raxus actually, the tier 4 towers are being pressured by the creep wave. And up on top lane, the Lycan walls have actually been adding pressure up there too.
They don't want to leave this though.
They got to. There's no choice. There is no choice. If they don't, they're going to lose too much life points on the tier 4 towers, and Fnatic may just try and chrono and just go straight for the GG push. At that point, one fight wins the game for Fnatic.
Well, up to EG. Can they execute? Can they keep Hani from doing so much damage? He does have a Mjolnir completed now, but at the same time, he doesn't have buyback, so almost certainly Aegis 2 Faces. But I would probably say Cheese too, after he uses the Aegis. He's that important.
They give the Cheese to the very, very tanky and survivable Lycan.
Yep, he's his chicken.
Yeah. And Mason's also now, he's even approaching a point where he can buy a secondary item. Like he could sell that Hand of Midas shortly and go into something else bigger. I'm wondering if he could also look towards a Scythe of Ice. If he could actually catch out the Batrider at this point. Or if he would consider going for a damage dealing item.
Well, some big pickups on both sides. We see Excalibur recently pick up his AC, and look at Zai too. You rarely see a Lion get this much farm.
How much is he at? Okay, yeah, okay. Waiting for Fnatic to massively group up. That's all I'm waiting for, man. They all group into one big go, faces Void and Lycan, all in one little nice little patch.
Yeah. They have 3 BKBs on Fnatic though.
Yeah, that's true. So what are we actually up to on those BKBs? I've got 8 seconds over on Harnies. We're down to actually 8 seconds over on Flies. And the final one's over on the, it's a full 10-second mount on Venomancer, so, all right. They do still have a long duration on these.
I mean, right now it's really a matter of execution when it comes to the T3 push too. I don't really think that either team has an upper hand. Fnatic may have slightly more items, especially with the Aegis and Cheese, but EG, they have the positional advantage.
And Wolves doing some serious work right now, and it may actually be some really, really big work. If they can get the jump off, there's Shafine's grip. OD, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Midnight Pulse down too, and look at the bashes. Harney's not taking any chances. Pop triggering the BKB while on bottom lane. Trixie being dragged back out. It's Universe, and they're going to bring him down. The arrows in there, the Starfall, and the Doom all being committed. So OD for the Venomancer is the trade-off here.
That's the second time that's happened to RTZ. He's gotten caught out by a wolf on top lane.
It's kind of like what started the spiral of Fnatic too, like these 3 chronos that happened to him in the first 20 minutes of the game. He needs... Oh, I love it, Zai. The cooldown's so low he can do that.
Why not?
Yeah.
Easy money.
It's easy to manage Drain back out and everything too. Or Mason. Oh, he's in trouble. The Observer Ward's going to scout out where he has to move to. Blink Dagger can't do it. The pipe will go and the Chrono will be committed. This could be really big right now. Mason as well as OD going down. Faces Void comes in. The Brain Sap, and that's it. And the kill is there. 17-17. 90 seconds on the sideline. Buyback will be there for him, but this is something which Fnatic must force out. Stop that Doombringer from even remotely considering putting that 3.8k gold into something big for him.
Yeah, that's sloppy play from EG though. They don't respect Fnatic's gank and movement around the map. They don't have any vision because they lost a gem.
Oh, 5 seconds until OD is up. But they will have to buy back the Doombringer. There's not another choice because Venomancer is only just respawned, so there still isn't a full lap, and they got Excalibur. Now he is really taking hard to kill up, but when you drag him so deep in, it was a double 4-star drag from Excalibur. He'll pop up the cheese, run away, but he's still in half-life. The OD Halti almost removes all of his life points. Pardon they see my ass. He almost died straight away.
Wow, that's really big, especially since they dropped Sanity's Eclipse. Batrider ultimate, level 16, not that big of a deal, but this is your second Rex. You can't afford to not get a kill blowing those ultimates.
Yeah, the fact that Doombringer also had to buy back to him. Void, he's in! He's going again right now over on the OD. There's no imprisonment to save him, but he's tanking him so much, there's no time! RTZ's down, it's a buyback, Finger of Death. They're trying to kill off Trixie, but Trixie, he did what he needed to do. The only went off, the BKB triggered, and the Gale as well. EG, they are so injured right now. Mason's going to go back and heal up. The OD imprisoment's there. They're looking at Excalibur, but that's not the one they have to kill off. Harney's back in again. Zai turns for the Hex. Finger of Death. 3 seconds. But he doesn't have a mana pool available to actually use it. They can't slow this one down, or maybe they can. OD imprisonment. He's still getting buffed up with the Nightmare, stopping the OD from being involved. They're beating on the racks. Universe Lasso. They're going Excalibur again. Harney. Still 23 seconds. And there's your whole reply. He got Mason with the Flame Break. Cancels it off. The Phoenix still on the Doombringer. He just tanked it up Excalibur. Now OD's taking his life. There's your Finger of Death! Nails the Lycan! Harney will leap himself away. 8 seconds on the Olymp. They got the melee rags. Fnatic, they do not want to accept any more casualties of war right now. They will pull themselves back out of this engagement for the moment. But then again, Harney, he's still got Aegis, he's still got Chrono, he's in again! Zai, they've got him dead to rights. Level Death, Harney, finish the job! Finish the job! Harney, he might be in a little bit of trouble, he's too close. The Yaw Scepter on the wrong target, it went over on a melee creep, and now they're in a little bit of trouble. They lost the Bane. There's a lot of damage still coming out from Arteezy. Harney, Level Death, max damage, Fly turns, Malivus done. He's going for the time locks, Harney man-moaning it. OD imprisonment will buy some space here for the Batrider. He has to blink away. Now in comes Fly. A lot of damage still flying out from the OD, even though the BKB is protecting Fly for now. Where's your orb? Where's your orb? There's your orb. OD ult. Now the BKB finally worn off. Hani turns, manages to get a bash over on Mason. Twice over. Arrow comes out. BKB's protecting Trixie. Moonlight Shadow trying to buy some extra space. Hani, OD, out to Easy. He's still standing his ground. He can't kill off Trixie. The Doom is down as well. Maybe PPD can mop up the rest. 4 seconds still Starfall. That would almost be enough for Trixie, but he blinked himself further away. PPD has sleep, but he needs it for defensive purposes. Meanwhile, Batrider, well, he was in the neighborhood, blinked down by Fly. Malphus to PPD, leaves himself further away. They just keep on going. Maybe there's another stun. No, there's not. One shot is 4-star. He turns. Only one alive for EG. The tier 4 towers are under siege from the mid. Universe has the defended. There's only buyback for the Batrider, but he's the only one alive for EG.
Yeah, killing OD a second time, that's just too much. They already lost 2 racks too, so... Well, Fnatic showing a lot of fight here.
Man, they are going to win this so hard. Maybe Batrider, the only thing he can do. The double 4-stars, Finger of Death still available. Hani backtracking out the damage for the moment. That finger's still there. Hani so low on life. No Aegis the Immortal. It's gone from him and they're just going for the GG. They're beating on the Fortress. There's 2 alive. They jump away. They Nightmare him up and GG is the call. Fnatic will take game number 2. We are going to a game number 3. A final deciding match to see who will go up against Invictus Gaming at the ESL 1 Grand Final live here in the Commerzbank Arena, Frankfurt. Nothing like a deciding match, Merlini. Nothing like a deciding match.
Wow, I expected Fnatic to go out easily and quietly, and what a game.
It didn't happen, man. It didn't happen. Well, we're going to go quiet, but we go to the panel. Let them be loud. Over to you, boys.
Thank you so much. Well, where do we start after that? What a game we have had in that second one. Just extraordinary. Bruno.
Okay, so this is my expert analysis, and I'm sorry if it gets a little bit too technical.
Okay.
But it goes more or less like this.
That's a very good analysis.
Extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary game. Like we collectively said before this started, every one of you said, not so sure about the Fnatic picks. Weird don't really know what they're going to do with this. Don't really know why it gels or works, or if it will work, or if it's early game, late game. Don't really know anything. It's worked.
That was quite an off-lane they had there with the Enigma Void. I'm surprised Hani got as much farm as he did, and I gotta commend him on the Aghanim Scepter build. That, like, all the ganks they got off on Arteezy with that was just paying dividends this entire game. Great play by Fnatic.
Crazy game, Pycat.
Yeah, indeed. I think it comes down to a lot of it. It comes down to the fact that this bottom, he didn't do much early game. He was sitting mid and he never really accomplished anything. I think that was an issue for them. He just also went for a strange arrow leap build. I'm not really sure why, and they just couldn't fight at all. And yeah. That's probably Excalibur, I suppose.
Yeah, no, or
RTC, I don't know who it is anymore.
It's for Seb, obviously. There's some Seb fanboys have joined us.
I do think actually Arteezy played a great game. He did really well, and he was one of the reasons EG could hold that long.
Yeah.
The most epic games in Dota are usually the ones where there's the most mistakes made, and that game there was a lot of mistakes from both teams, a lot of big plays. I'm pretty sure both teams are very frustrated about that game. Either both Fnatic and obviously Fnatic won, so they're happy about it. But they did many mistakes, so EG did. They both, and I have to admit that I agree with Mac that Hani played an awesome game.
Yeah,
he was incredible.
Hani, but also Fly. I mean, we can't take anything away from those big black holes. He came in when it was needed at least 3 times with those.
Yeah, we saw Notetail, aka Big Daddy, standing up at the end. He kind of looked a bit perplexed. He was like, I'm not sure how we won that, really.
Well, they were ahead the entire game. I think he was more, just like, knowing him, he was just relieved, and he was very pleased with his team.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary...
He has a reputation for giving backdrops afterwards.
Does he?
Yes.
We should go and see him immediately.
We should.
We'll do that right now. We'll be right back after this break.